We say welcome to the program. We have in our presence Miss Carolyn Mahfood. She is the CEO of the GraceKennedy Foundation. Carolyn, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. Can't complain. Happy to be home in Jamaica. So good.
Don't brag, don't brag. Listen, the GraceKennedy Foundation. Tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Sure. The foundation is actually the oldest corporate foundation in Jamaica. We were established in 1982 as part of Grace Kennedy's 60th anniversary. Our main focus, we have three buckets that we focus on. One is environment, one is education, mainly at the tertiary level. So we support university students primarily. And then the other area is healthy lifestyles, again, focused at the university level. So we run a food bank for university students attending UE, UTech, and Edna Manley College. So those are the main areas. We do a lot of other stuff in between, but those are the buckets.
And recently you've made the news, made CBS News with one of your environmental projects. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's really exciting. It's called the Kingston Harbour Cleanup Project, and the Grace Kennedy Foundation serves as the facilitators for the project. It started in 2022, and basically it came out of a lecture that we had held in 2019, which looked at whether the Kingston Harbour was, a pipe dream or a pot of gold. And we believe it's a pot of gold. Grace Kennedy has been downtown for 103 years. It's our backyard. And actually, people don't know this, but long before environmental issues were sexy, the Grace Kennedy Foundation was funding a chair in environmental management. And we've been doing that since 1996. So a long, long, long time we've been invested in the environment. That chair right now is held by Professor Mona Weber, who is the harbor guru. She presented at that lecture. And coming out of that, we went after grant funding for the first time. We got a grant valued at just under $1 million at that point. That program ran for 3 years. And then the Ocean Cleanup approached us to do this larger harbor project. And it's really exciting because basically we're preventing waste and plastics from entering the Kingston Harbour and the Caribbean Sea by putting up barriers at 9. Well, it's going to be 11 of the most polluting gullies in the harbour, but right now we have it at 9 of the most polluting gullies in the harbour. And to date, we've actually prevented over 3 million kgs of waste going into the harbour. Wow, that's how much waste we are dumping into our gullies. So it's a serious issue.
It's very serious. I remember one time I was downtown looking at just a gully flowing a lot of debris and waste into the harbor. And I was like, this is not good. So for Grace Kennedy Foundation to really take that project on. And you said something earlier, Kingston Harbour is, I think, one of the jewels down there in Jamaica that needs to be developed in such a huge way. I remember back in the day, the Kingston Harbour was the gem. Cruise ships used to come in, the Myrtle Bank Hotel down there and all of that. And so I'm thinking, that should be the point where we start with redeveloping Kingston, clean up the harbor and make that the environment be safe again, and then build around that.
I agree 100%. Every year we do a beach cleanup at Gunboat Beach. That's the beach where everybody used to go and swim at. Mm-hmm. Remember? Yeah. Like 30, 40 years ago.
Yes.
You can't swim there right now because of the pollution, because of garbage. So we are actively looking at how to get the harbor clean. Interesting story. I don't know if you remember Jimmy Masalomon, but Jimmy Masalomon was the youngest person to swim across the harbor at 11 years old. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of thing we want to bring back. We want to bring back rowing, water skiing, ships, yachts, everything coming into the harbor. It's a critical transshipment port. So again, what happens to these larger vessels when they come into the harbor and pollution and the fridges And the mattresses and the plastic gets tangled in those propellers. It causes serious damage, serious cost. So there are a lot of implications. The other thing is that there are a lot of fishers. And the harbor is a place where you can, you have your fish sanctuaries, you can be growing oysters. We have to restore it. And in addition, the other really important thing about the harbor is the mangroves that are there. And the fact that if they're inundated with plastic, they die. And they protect us from storm surge. They protect us from hurricanes. So there are multiple reasons why we need to protect the harbor and why we need to be clean, why we need to protect, why we need to just take care of our country and dispose of garbage in the right way.
Right. I want to switch a minute though, because all that we were talking about, the cleanup, the Kingston Harbour cleanup, the Visioneers on CBS TV. Tell us how that happened and your role in making it happen.
Sure. Super, super exciting. Zay Harding came to Jamaica, and as you know, they didn't just do one show, they're actually doing two. And this time they're highlighting the work of the GraceKennedy Foundation in the project, because not only do we facilitate the project with all the government relations, we also do all of the outreach. We're responsible for outreach. So they were really impressed with the work that was being done. The site where the garbage comes in, we use it also as a teaching tool. So we have students, we have the general public coming to do tours there to learn more about why we need to take care of the harbor and keep it clean. And they highlighted one of those sessions that we had with a group of students, which was really exciting. Again, because we do understand that if you really want to make real change, you have to start with our young people and with our youth. And educating them is really critical to having this project be a success. So very excited about that.
Now, you mentioned, real change, the youth, because that's another area that the foundation is really strong on, as you said, a bucket. Tell us some of the work and why it's important.
Sure. So I would say when we talk about funding university students, that's really investing in workforce development. That's a critical issue in Jamaica, right? And one of the things we have recognized is in years past, people from all walks of life won our scholarships, but more and more we're finding that if the persons we selected did not win our scholarships, they would not be able to attend university. I know education is free up to high school, technically. But once you go to university, to find the tuition, to find the food, to find the books, the transportation is extremely hard for many, many students. And the government has made it easier with the Student Loan Bureau, but kids still need more support. And our scholarships are merit-based, so we're targeting the students who are the most brilliant in the country, but also have great need, and it's so inspiring to see their lives change and to see the impact they're having on society once they've finished their university degrees.
You're doing such good work. How do you get your support, and can the public help to support?
Sure. Well, there is an area that we want support in. So we have an endowment. So most of our projects and our university scholarships, all of that is funded through the endowment. But with the food bank that we run, that was something new we added. And that's one area that we really would love support on. 71% of students on campus are facing either severe or moderate hunger. That's based on a study that was done by UTech. It's a serious, serious issue. So we do want support. If people want to help, all the proceeds go straight to the food bank. None of it covers operational costs. The foundation covers all of that. But if people do want to support the food bank, we would really like to encourage that. I can share the banking information with you separately, okay. But we can do that. That would be wonderful. Great.
Well, I know the excitement is the CBS program, Visioneers. It's going to air, I think, October 27th, I think. I'm not sure.
26.
26 on
6:30 in the morning.
on CBS. So check your local listings. Carolyn Mahfood, CEO of the Grace Kennedy Foundation. It was good speaking with you.
Great.
And listen, continue the wonderful work that the foundation is doing. And I'm sure we're going to be talking again soon.
I hope so. Thank you so much. Next time we'll talk about the birthright program.
Oh, yes, we can do that for sure.
Another program that we're on.
Yes.
All right.
Okay. All right, good. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.